Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Foolish Fish Esoteric News with your weekly updates on the worlds of esoteric and occult book publishing and arts and events and paraphernalia. We are sponsored once again by Miskatonic Books. Thank you so much, miskatonicbooks.com, for sponsoring the show. Miskatonic Books buy, sell, trade and consign esoteric titles, but I think that's selling them short. Miskatonic Books are basically the first place that I always think of when I'm thinking of where I can get my hands on rare volumes or volumes that are maybe expensive to ship. It's sometimes the case that you live outside of the US and you want a US based or a book from a publisher that's based in the US, or sometimes you live in the US and you want a book that's made by a publisher that's based outside of the US. Well, Miskatonic Books mitigate some of those costs of shipping, and they just do a fantastic job. I do recommend visiting their website always, and this week they've got some really interesting stuff in this Theurgy and the Soul seems really cool. And then there's this library of weird fiction. Of course, there's also this beautiful deluxe leather-bound limited edition of Frater Acher's Holy Heretics. I'm not sure where else in the world you would look for that right now. Of course, they're all sold out. And if a book's sold out, if an esoteric or occult book is sold out, Miskatonic Books are likely to either have it in stock or know where to get it in stock for you, so it's always worth reaching out for them. They've also got a system where you can go onto any book, and if it's out of stock you can ask to get notified when it comes back into stock. So very, very cool system. There we are. I've got news, folks. Some very exciting news. I told you last week that I had some news that I wanted to share, but it was still a little bit too early. Well, I can share the news because it's official. If we scroll down a little bit on my Kickstarter for my book Hidden Paths, you'll see a little bit of new text over here. An introduction by Josephine McCarthy. Thank you so much, Josephine McCarthy, for accepting to write the introduction to my book, or should I say the preface to my book. Oh my goodness, I am thrilled, absolutely thrilled. If I had imagined 5 years ago when I was starting this channel that one day Josephine McCarthy herself would accept to write a preface to my book, oh, I'm over the moon, and I've read the text. She's written it already. She's so efficient, and it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful, and just a further testament to what an amazing individual she is. And if you just scroll down all the way to the very, very bottom, you'll see my face, and then there's Josephine right there with details of her work and so on. My word, very, very excited indeed. So, if you haven't got your orders in yet, now's probably the time. Don't forget that, of course, if you're hoping to get a first edition, the Kickstarter's the only way to get that. I've been told to tell you that. It's the truth. So now you know. The first edition is going to be obviously a Kickstarter exclusive, which tells me that there might be a second edition. Maybe. Who knows? All right, let's move on to news from oh my goodness, William Wayne Watkins is writing many messages. Here we are. So Shea Bile is his book, or Friedrich, Nietzsche and the Left-Hand Path is available. So you can buy it in many different places. I've seen it being advertised in the UK through Watkins Books. They've got it in store. So if you're living close to London, you can visit Watkins Books. If you're living away from London, you can, of course, order it in from Watkins Books, or you can order it straight from the website, right? You can go to atramentuspress.com, and I'll leave links down below, of course. But if you're living in the US, of course, then Miskatonic Books is probably going to be the place to purchase that. And if you live in Canada or anywhere close to Canada, then Anathema Publishing are also carrying it on their website, so you can avoid all the crazy international shipping costs. And it's a very, very exciting one. I wasn't, so Friedrich Nietzsche personally leaves me cold, but Scherbile reached out to me quite recently saying there's more to the book than just Friedrich Nietzsche. So he's very kindly proposed to send me a copy. So I'll take a closer look and I'll review it, of course. That's something to look forward to. Maybe you can find it on the front page here. I would expect so. Yeah, here it is, right there on Miskatonic Books, and of course Anathema Publishing for those of you living in Canada. Right, let's move on to news from Scarlet Imprint. So oh my goodness, this went so fast. Was it just last week that Scarlet Imprint announced their new book, Anarch, and they're saying that they're receiving the books from the printers on Tuesday next week, and they'll begin shipping on Wednesday 15th. So a day before, Hagia Sophia Sanctum of Kronos will be shipping. So Thursday 16th for Hagia Sophia. I'm so glad that Scarlet Imprint have managed to solve those problems with the binding, which apparently all had to be redone. They had to send all the books back to the printer to get those rebound. And I for one am very, very grateful for the care and the attention to detail that Scarlet Imprint always bring to their books. You know, that they're in the top 3. Some might argue that they're even number 1 in their field. They're certainly among the best, and they're proving it once more, aren't they? By being certain that the books that they are putting out are of impeccable quality. We expect the best from them, and they deliver the best. So yeah, fantastic. Looking forward to those new books, of course. Right, news from Anathema Publishing, also among the top 3. Right, some may argue the best, but yes, here we are. We've got the blurb for Desert Meditations, a Gnostic Cartography by Craig Williams, and this is extremely exciting stuff, folks. Really, really cool stuff. This is in the vein of Entering the Desert, a direct sequel, it would seem. And so we don't have pre-order status quite yet, but I'm guessing that that's going to be coming quite soon. But it's really nice to be able to read a little bit about the contents, a little bit, just a couple of paragraphs, but nevertheless we're being teased here. It's very exciting. This is good stuff. Right, I got a message from Jacobus Swart. So those of you who saw my review that I published, well, actually last night at the point when I'm speaking, because I'm recording this on Thursday, putting out the news videos to all members one day before everyone else. So many of you will be seeing this on Friday, 10th of March. So I made a review of the Book of Sacred Names, and I'm really, really impressed with this book. And Jacobus Swart very kindly reached out to me on Facebook and pointed out that the Book of Seals and Amulets, which is double the price of all the other books in the collection on Amazon, and that's any Amazon that I've seen so far, actually. He says that that's an anomaly, that it shouldn't be twice the price, and that if you have a look on lulu.com, which I'm showing you right now, right, lulu.com, which is a self a self-publishing website, right? You can get books printed on demand through lulu.com. The book is the same price as all the others in the series, and you can see that the Book of the Sacred Names here is exactly the same price as the Book of Amulets, Seals and Amulets, of course. So yeah, if you're hoping to pick up the entire collection, and it would certainly be understandable if that was your intention, then yeah, lulu.com seems to be the right place to do that. That may be mitigated by shipping costs. I don't really know. There's also a book here that Jacobus Swart is publishing through his imprint from his teacher, William G. Grayle, Western Inner Workings. So that could actually be quite an interesting read as well. Western Inner Workings, Sangreal Solidarity, Sodality series, volume 1, which tells me that there may be more volumes on the way. Who knows? Anyway, all looks very exciting. This was a book that was brought to my attention at some point this week, The Path of the Sacred Hermit, exploring monasticism in modern pagan spirituality. So the idea of monasticism and paganism don't very often converge, and the idea of a book that explores... Well, right there, exploring monasticism in modern pagan spirituality seems, yeah, like an interesting topic to explore, right? It's available through Barnes and Noble, which is cool for those of you living in the US, since Barnes and Noble unfortunately don't ship or weren't shipping last time I checked to the European Union, but that may have changed. I'll leave it up to you to check that. But yeah, it seems like an interesting topic. There's a paperback, $14.99. The hardcover is $29.99. And yeah, I'll let you read the blurb if there is one. Where's the blurb? Product details. Anyway, I'll let you do some research on that. It looks all pretty interesting if this is the kind of area that you're interested in, right? All right. This made my heart leap this week. I was doing a bit of research on Rupert. I don't know how to pronounce his name in English. For me, this is Degas, right? Like the Impressionist. But I don't believe Rupert Degas is French. I believe he's Australian, in fact. He's my favorite narrator. He's my favorite reader on Audible by a long way. He's a hero for me. He read the Name of the Wind, and I've just finished listening to The Wise Man's Fear, which is a sequel to The Name of the Wind, and those are two books that I already have up on a pedestal, and his reading just takes it to the next level. There is nothing else like it. I just love his reading manner, his style. He's an actor, right? He's a voice actor, and he gives each character their own distinct voices. You feel like you're there. It's just beautiful. And I subscribed to his Instagram just literally 2 days ago, and he put up a post saying that he had just put up a new book on Audible called The Magic of My Youth, and this is a book that was written in the 40s, I guess, by a gentleman in his 40s, so I think he was about 42 when he wrote this, about his early 20s in the 1920s, which he spent in the south of England at the time when Aleister Crowley and the whole of the Golden Dawn and Thelema was really booming, and this was a big thing, and he's giving his accounts of meeting just very, very colourful characters. I'm only 1 hour into the 5-hour narrative. This is so the book was published in, I believe, in the 40s, in 1940s. But yes, from my understanding, he actually does get to meet Aleister Crowley, and is the figure of Aleister Crowley certainly looms very, very large over the whole story. And I was listening to this on my way to pick up my son from school today, and I laughed out loud at some point. I couldn't help myself, and I looked up at everyone on the street, looking at me as if I was mad. I had my earphones in, and I just had to hide my face, kind of thing. But just beautifully read. You once again, Rupert Degas. Anyway, just brings this to life, and it's just a great joy to listen to this gentleman talking about his youth during the 1920s in magical England. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. As I say, I've listened to 1 hour of the 5 hours and 40 minutes, I think that the whole thing is. So it's not super long, compared to some of the other books that you might find. The Wise Man's Fear was 42 hours, something like that. Huge pleasure. 5 extra hours in Rupert Degas' company hurts no one. Good. Let's move on to news from Ignota. So, every year I tell you about the wonderful Ignota diary, which is just wonderful. They have it's like an almanac, right? So every page they've got some new esoteric or occult tidbit, which is invariably fascinating. This is the book that I spotted this week that they were advertising, I think, on Instagram also. Gaia and Philosophy by Lynn Margulis and Dorian Sagan. The cover is, I'm gonna say it's unimaginative, but the topic sounds quite interesting, and it's at a regular, normal mass market paperback price. I think it's like $6.99 or $7.99, $7.99, right? And I think that anyone interested in the Gaia theory is going to be interested in this. It could be, I'm figuring that some of you watching may be interested in the concept of Gaia, the Earth as an entity. So. There you have it. You've got the link now. I'll link it down below, as everything that I show you today. News from Sarah Mastros. She has just shared the cover of her upcoming book, The Sorcery of Solomon. Always excited to see anything new from Sarah Mastros. A guide to the 44 planetary pentacles of the Magician King. I'm sure that if it's anything as interesting as her recently published Orphic Hymns Grimoire, then it'll be a lot of fun, and certainly very accessible and very interesting. So that's exciting news. I'll tell you when it's actually out to purchase. Right, this is just a cover design, which is very, very nice. Couple of Kickstarters for you, other than mine that I mentioned already, of course. The Rain Shadow Tarot. This really caught my eye this week. I've got a couple of Kickstarters, but this one caught my eye on the basis of its beauty, and that means a lot to me. And there's so it's an oracle deck. I don't think it's... it is a tarot, a 78 card tarot deck. But yeah, the art is a mixture of original art and collage. It just looks really really energetic and I don't know. It seems it feels like it goes a bit deeper than many of the tarots that I see on a regular basis. I like this art style very much. I'm a big fan of collage when it's done well, and yeah, this is done well. I really like this. We've got a few images of the originals hanging up there. Yeah, it's just done with some evident skill, you know. Beautiful colors, really evocative. Some very detailed work and some really raw work, and it all just works together quite nicely, I feel. Yeah, I like that a lot. Quite evocative of the Thoth Tarot to some extent, maybe. Lady Harris's work. Yep, lovely. Really, really nice. Let's see, is that funded already? Oh, yes, by a long way. Great stuff. Very, very good. This is the other one that caught my attention. I'll be honest with you, it's the box that caught my attention. Check this out. So, roses, dust and ashes. There we go. Sorry, I was trying to read it from the thumbnail here. I should have just read the title up here. Once again, funded by a long way, and here's the box. But wait until I show you the deluxe box, right? Here are the cards, very, very competently drawn cards from some interesting sources, it seems. It's the pocketbook that goes with it. A few words about the concept itself. And here's the artist's edition. It just tickled me. I thought it was quite cool. I'm sure many of you will be into that as well. All right, and then there's this no idea how to pronounce this. I'm not even going to try, because it's Welsh, right? So WOAD, whatever that spells. Stone to Stone, a beautiful custom tarot deck is your guide to Welsh mythology in this solo journaling game. So you get an idea of what's going on here. It's a solo RPG, journaling RPG, very, very beautifully designed, it seems. And it seems to be an introduction to Welsh mythology, Welsh magic. And there is a very beautifully designed card deck that comes along with this. So yes, any of you who are interested in the Celtic way and the Welsh way, you've got plenty to read about here. I tried to get the video to play earlier on just to get a better idea, but it wasn't working for me. I wonder if it's working now. I'll just try it. No, it's not working for me. Oh yeah, there we go. It does work. Cool. So I'll let you check that out in your own time. Good. And then there is from Etsy, this one. This is quite a nice looking tarot dice set. I've talked in the past about the way I'm not sure that dice are the best way to work with the tarot, because the dice have got 6 sides, and when one of the sides are taken up, then the other 5 sides of that dice are not available. It doesn't work with the way that I work with tarot, but it may work with many of your ways of working with the tarot. Anyway, if you do like a dice set for working with the tarot, this does seem to be a particularly beautiful set. I've seen a few tarot dice sets, and yeah, really, this does look really cool. I like the idea of the cloth, which is its own spread, right? And just enough dice to cover all of the spots. And I can see this working, right? I can see this being an effective working oracle. I think I'll have to call it an oracle due to the fact that it's not going to be possible to draw two cards that are represented on a single die. But yeah, those spreads look pretty cool, pretty interesting. Quite nice ideas. Okay. News from Dr. Alexander Cummins. Do you know, just literally 4 days ago, I was thinking to myself, I should get in touch with Dr. Alexander Cummins and ask him, what does someone who's just getting started in geomancy, who's wanting to take the first step into geomancy, what should that person do? Did I just say his first step? Whoever's first step, their first step in geomancy. What should they do? And within 48 hours of having this thought and getting distracted by life, Dr. Alexander Cummins had this post on Facebook saying, hello there, I get asked by folks interested in geomancy where I recommend they start or go next. And there's this whole blog post about where you can get started with geomancy. How beautiful is that? Isn't that wonderful? So yeah, I'll let you read through. There are a few courses that he recommends, a few books that he recommends, and it's wonderful. So yeah, definitely go and check that out. Links down below. Absolutely top-notch stuff. Dr. Alexander Cummins is the number one geomancer in my world, at least. Which probably means the world. We'll go with that. Yeah. All right. He's an outstanding champion for geomancy. He's been extolling the virtues of geomancy on all the podcasts for such a long time, and he's just such an expert, and he's so passionate about his topic. If I have a question about geomancy, he will be the first person that I will turn to, just because I trust his knowledge on geomancy over anyone else's knowledge on geomancy. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm never not going to let you know when a new cohort of the Hail Hekate course is about to start. I know I talk about this every 13 weeks. Well, 13 weeks have passed, and if you've been wanting to get onto the Hail Hekate course, then now's your opportunity. The new cohort starts on the 27th of March. If you haven't heard me wax lyrical on the how amazing this course is, and go and check the entire review that I devoted to this course. It's just the best money you'll ever spend if you're interested in magic in any way. I've said in the past that you can take the same amount of money that the course costs and buy as many books as that money will afford. You'll not get this much knowledge as beautifully explained, as accessibly laid out for you as you will from this course. It's a lot of money, it is, but the value for your money that you're getting through this course is outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Anyway, I've talked too much about this course in the past. I'm just not sure I can ever talk too much about this course. The new cohort is starting, and you can just you can sign up over here at the Blackthorn School, or you can read a little bit more about the course if you if you don't already know about it. And anyway, so it's there. And while we're here at the Blackthorn School, let's also talk about Harper Feist's course, Scrying, a workshop on esoteric awareness, which also comes up on a reasonably regular basis, and the new cohort is starting on March the 20th. 6-week online course taught by Harper Feist, and you can watch her talking about the course over here just by scrolling down a little bit and finding out about the course outline down in the blurb. There we are. One more course, or should I say meeting maybe. It does seem to be a class, Ethiopian Magic and Divination. It was actually Sarah Janes, the author of the initiation into dream, which I reviewed and found so much value in. She pointed me to this Ethiopian Magic and Divination with Eyob Derillo. I was just reading the blurb here, and it sounds fascinating. It sounds really, really interesting, and delivered by an actual practitioner. It sounds, I don't know, it sounds like something that you don't see very much of being shared. So and it's open to anyone on or off Facebook. I've been looking around. I've not been able to find a link to the lesson itself. So maybe some of you will be more proficient at doing that than I have been. I've registered my own interest, but I'll put a link to the Facebook page down in the description down below, as always, of course. If the title piques your interest, then go and click on that link down below and find out a little bit more for yourselves. It seems very interesting to me, and just not something that you can find elsewhere. All right, and then this is the game that I found this week. It reminded me a little bit of Magic the Gathering, maybe without the crazy collecting spending that has to be involved with Magic the Gathering. So you're collecting spirits from various elements. I think it comes in 3 different boxes. You get water versus fire, then there's wood versus metal, I think. Yeah, there we are. And then of course earth versus air. Some very cool looking artwork. The gameplay looks really nice, but it is a 1 against 1, right? It's 2-player game, which is ideal for many people. Right? Many people like to play as a couple, or just with one friend at a time. Here are some of the miniatures that you can pledge for at the same time. It just looks quite nice. If you like the idea of summoning magical creatures and getting them to fight against each other, this looks really nice. There we are. That's my news for this week. Thank you ever so much, as always, for joining me. I always have such a blast making these videos and then talking to you guys down in the description, down in the comments afterwards. It's always a highlight of my week. So thank you for indulging me in all of this. And don't forget that I do one-to-one video conversations, consultations. I do tarot readings. I do conversations, just simple conversations where you ask me whatever you like and we have a nice chat for an hour or for 25 minutes. There's also that option, and so the links for that are down below. If you'd like to support the channel, then there's a Patreon, of course. There are also YouTube memberships. If you click on that join button, you can find out a little bit more about the YouTube memberships. And that's going to be me for this week. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Take care of yourselves. See you soon. Bye bye.